It was March 2004 when we traveled to the American city of Baltimore to meet up with an 18-year-old with dreams of Olympic glory. Little did we know back then that the teenager meeting us in a desolate car park on the outskirts of town would go on to become the greatest Olympian of all time.
Good morning, Mr. Phelps. Your mission, should you choose to accept it, will take place in Athens.
Michael Phelps was a force of nature who was preparing to take on the world and win his first Olympic medal at that year's Athens Games. He stood 6'4" with a wingspan of 6'7". The then 18-year-old had already established himself as the world's fastest ever all-round swimmer, and at this stage in his career he held 3 world records and 3 world titles. But his big aim was to win Olympic gold in Athens, and not just one. He was looking to equal or even exceed Mark Spitzer's record haul of 7 gold medals from the 1972 Olympics. Many, including Australia's Ian Thorpe, thought Phelps's mission impossible.
I think if he said that, then it means that sort of he thinks he can't do it. I don't think it's impossible for anybody. I mean, I think if you really just have a wide open mind and use your imagination, I think a lot of things are possible.
Phelps was already exceeding others' expectations. At 15, he became the youngest swimmer to break a world record. And in 2003, he set an unprecedented 5 world records at the World Championships, where he also became the first swimmer to break world records in 2 individual events on the same day. He set a total of 8 world marks in 4 different events in 2003.
He did it! A world record for Michael Phelps.
Despite all the talk about history being made by Phelps in Athens, the teenager that we met in 2004 was a grounded and likable young man. Michael had stayed close to his roots in Baltimore and was still training at the same local pool where he'd swum with his family since he was 7. Phelps's development had been overseen by the coach who would stay with him throughout his career, Bob Bowman.
Good for you. It's a thrill every day to come into work because he does things which I'm quite sure I'll never see again, so I try to enjoy what he's doing, and challenging him is a challenge in itself because he can handle virtually anything you throw at him, so I have to stay on my toes to keep him going.
Since turning pro at 16, Michael had combined swimming distances of up to 140 kilometers every week with poolside workouts. At this stage in his career, because of his age, Phelps hadn't even started weight training. This was something he'd begin doing after Athens. What struck us most about Michael when we met him all those years ago was his dedication to the long hours in the pool.
It's one reason why we train 7 days a week, why we train on Christmas, why we train on Thanksgiving, 365 days a year. There aren't many clubs that train 7 days a week, so that gives you one extra set training session every single week where you can pick something up. So, I mean, if I'm getting 52 more practices than everybody else is, that's kind of make that little or big difference in the end.
Good, good. Come on, man, now squeeze your butt together at the end. Squeeze your butt together at the end of that kick.
It's once, it's twice, it's 3 times, till you crawl up to indigo. No peace to greet these streets and hard grinds that I've had a hard time indigo.
We discovered that one of Phelps's many advantages in the pool was the fact that he was double-jointed in the elbows, knees, and ankles.
I don't think you can point to any one thing that makes him great, but he has the physical tools, he has the right body shape, he had a family that understood swimming on a high level, he happened to swim for a club that had a history of producing Olympic gold medalists. There's a combination of factors.
In 2004, swimming wasn't getting much of a look in compared to mainstream American sports, but Phelps was changing that. His sponsor had offered to pay him a $1 million bonus if he won 7 or more gold medals at either the Athens or Beijing Olympics. This teenager was on course to become the highest paid swimmer in history. Michael's rap-loving and video game-playing image was perfect for sponsors looking to market swimming to a younger audience. The fast-skinned suit that he'd wear in Athens was even modelled on a comic book action hero.
I don't think swimming gets enough publicity in the U.S. In my opinion, I think we're the strongest international team. I mean, I think right now, I think things are starting to change. Over the past few years, I think swimming has sort of grown a little bit. I mean, I think with myself being on the cover of ESPN magazine this past month, I think that it's huge. It's the first swimmer that's ever done that.
Michael still lived with his mum, and she'd allowed him to spend some of his earnings on his other passion, his customized Cadillac.
22-inch, they're called spinners. When you go and you stop at a traffic light, they keep spinning when you stop. All right, it's a little flip-out TV. It's all touchscreen. 15-inch subwoofer. And then have some Xbox.
Sydney was Phelps's first taste of America's intense swimming rivalry with Australia. Since then, he'd had plenty of experience racing against the Aussies. At the 2003 duel in the pool, he won 4 events and set one new world record, narrowly missing a second. The American showdown in Athens with the then world's best freestyle swimmer Ian Thorpe was being eagerly anticipated.
I asked my friends, they're like, that's the only person they've ever heard of in swimming. I mean, they're like, oh, how's that Thorpe guy going? And I mean, it's just a topic of conversation every now and then. So, I mean, definitely, I would love to go up against him in his event. You know, he's the best in his events, and I want to be out there and I want to be able to race the best.
Michael went on to win 6 gold medals and 2 bronzes in Athens. In Beijing, he won an unbelievable 8 golds. At London 2012, Phelps was once again the most successful competitor, claiming 4 golds and 2 silvers. Now retired, his 18 Olympic golds are a record, and to think when we met him back in 2004, all he wanted to do was win just 1.
Not very many people in the U.S. or in the world for that can say they're an Olympic gold medalist. So coming back with 1 gold medal, obviously I'll be completely happy. I mean, a lot of people say right now, if I come back with 5 gold medals, it's going to be a disaster. No, 1 gold medal is all I want.
Michael Phelps, mission accomplished. Subscribe now to our YouTube channel for the very best of Trans World Sports.